Yes, ma'am.
On this side, Karine.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh my gosh. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Thank you, Karine.
Yeah.
I want to reference an interview that President Biden did in mid-September with 60 Minutes. And in that interview, he chided former President Trump for having in his possession classified documents. He called it irresponsible. First of all, do you think it was proper for President Biden to comment on an ongoing DOJ investigation?
So I'm going to say this, and I'm going to keep it really short today, as it relates to this particular issue, as it relates to an ongoing legal matter. I'm going to refer you to Department of Justice with that specific, as it relates to anything that you want to ask of us about this legal matter. I would refer you to the White House Counsel office. I'm going to leave it there. I'm not going to go into further.
I'm simply asking you to comment
I
on the person that you work for.
I just commented. We're moving on. Go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead. I already answered your question. Go ahead.
You really didn't.
Well, I did.
No, you didn't. You
Well,
didn't.
it's your opinion.
Answer.
It's your
You gave a
opinion.
non-answer answer.
It's your opinion. That is your opinion. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Questions today.
Sure.
First of all, can you just walk us through the administration's rationale for wanting South Carolina to be the first primary state, and your reaction to the unhappiness we've seen from Democrats in New Hampshire?
Look, we have addressed this. The Democratic National Committee has addressed this. I'm just not going to go any further to what we've already shared about this. So I'm just going to leave it to the statements that we put out just a couple of weeks ago on the process. I'm just not going to dive into the process from here.
Okay, then let me ask about the document issue then. So I have to take another stab at it. But we don't know what's in these documents, but can the U.S. and is the U.S. working to reassure allies and partners that you can still participate in intelligence gathering and still be trusted with secrets? Are those conversations that the president is having right now, or that top of administration officials are having, for example, Jake Sullivan in Israel?
I'm going to say this. The president takes classified information seriously. You heard that directly from him. To classified documents seriously. You heard that directly from him last week. And I'm just going to leave it there. I'm not going to open this up for discussion. We have answered many questions as it is related to the documents. Any specifics that's related to this this review, this legal process, I would refer you to the Department of Justice. And any questions that you may have of us, I would refer you to my colleagues at the White House Counsel's office. So I'll leave it
They're
there.
my questions about procedures here at the White House and not about anything specific related to the DOJ investigation. So I'm just wondering how this episode has prompted a review of the process in which staffers handle classified information and how they are turned over to National Archives during a transition.
And to be clear, I'm going to refer you to my colleagues at the White House Counsel's office. They will be able to address that particular questions. I'm just not going to address something that is even related to an ongoing legal process.
Why not? I mean, I'm having a hard time understanding why
I just said
questions about procedure
and I just said to you, the White House Counsel's office will be able to address that question.
Is President Biden satisfied with the current SOP of handling classified materials here and turning them over to National Archives?
Again, I will refer you to the White House Counsel's office. They're the people who would be able to answer that question about classified information.
So just to be clear, from this point on, are you not going to be taking questions about the classified documents?
I have been very clear over and over again. We are going to be prudent here. We're going to be consistent. This particular matter is being looked at. There's a legal process currently happening at the Department of Justice, and I'm going to refer you to the Department of Justice on any specifics to this particular case and anything that has to deal with what we're doing here. I would refer you to the White House Counsel's office. And let me remind you, this is not a new process here. We've been doing this for the past 2 years. Anything that is related to a legal process, a legal matter, we refer it to the Department of Justice. There's nothing new in our. Okay. Go ahead, Joey. Go ahead.
The president is scheduled to meet on Friday with a group of mayors. Can you just give us a preview of that meeting? How many mayors? What's on the agenda? What's the president's message? What does he hope to accomplish with this?
So as you know, he's going to, as you just mentioned, he's going to meet with mayors, bipartisan mayors who are attending the U.S. Conference of Mayors. This is something that the president certainly is looking forward to attending and to interact with the mayors who will be here. Don't have any more specifics as the list. Certainly, as we get closer, we will be sharing a list with all of you and more information about the remarks that he will be giving. But again, it's going to be bipartisan mayors, an opportunity, as the president has said, and he has said during his Senate years as a vice president and during the campaign and now as president, he looks forward to working in a bipartisan way and continuing to deliver for the American people, and that's what you'll probably hear from him on Friday. But don't want to get beyond that. Haryana, way in the back. I'm going to go way in the back.
It's been over a month since the U.S.-Africa Leaders Summit take place, and I would like you to give us an update what have been done so far in order to accomplish all the agreements and projects that have been agreed upon during the summit.
No, it's a very good question. Look, President Biden was very pleased with the summit and its outcome, including his personal engagement with many of his counterparts that week. The summit was an effective demonstration of our renewed partnership with the region's governments, business community, and civil society, as well as the broader African diaspora. The president and the African leaders worked together to define a shared global agenda and to set the stage for deeper cooperation and engagement in 2023 and beyond. So it was just the beginning, and we're truly looking to continue those conversations, clearly on the staff level, as we continue throughout the year.
One quick question on the classified documents. How the president is feeling? Is he worried about those documents that were found, or did he somehow regret to what he had done with those documents being found at his property? Is he worried about that?
First, I'm going to repeat what I just said moments ago. He takes this very seriously when it comes to classified documents, when it comes to classified information. He was unaware that the documents were there. You heard that directly from him, from the president. Twice he spoke to this just last week. And his team is fully cooperating with this process, with this ongoing legal process. Anything specific dealing with this issue, I would refer to the Department of Justice or the Special Counsel, and I'll leave it there. Okay, I'll come.
Can I just follow up on that? We've all reached out to the Department of Justice. A law enforcement official tells NBC News the Justice Department has not told the White House that it cannot talk about the facts underlying the Special Counsel investigation into classified documents. So trusting you've received that same information, understanding the desire to be prudent, then why can't you speak about the underlying facts?
We've been very clear when it comes to even underlying facts, when it comes to specifics, when it comes to something that is under the purview, that the Department of Justice is looking at, especially legal matters, investigations. We do not comment from here, Peter. That has been consistent.
So
we've been
that
very consistent.
Bob Bauer, who represents the president's personal attorney over the weekend, said that one of the reasons why, and Ian Sams, your colleague who speaks on behalf of the special counsel at the White House, spoke to this in some form yesterday. But he said one of the reasons why they shouldn't reveal further details right now was regular ongoing public disclosures also pose the risk that as further information develops, answers provided on this periodic basis may be incomplete. When the White House did release a statement, the president spoke out on January 9th, the risk of incompletion was a function of the White House's decision not to share all the information it knew, in fact, because we knew on November 2nd, and the first discovery was made. We knew the second discovery was made on December 20th. So there's a risk of incompletion, but will you concede that it's the White House that has been incomplete in its provision of information when it did choose to speak out publicly on January 9th?
My colleague actually dealt with this question on the call yesterday on the White House counsel's office.
He made the same point about the risk of incompletion.
And I would refer you to the White House counsel's office.
Then then is the White House having any conversations internally about finding someone, much the same way John Kirby has spoken on behalf of national security issues at this podium as your colleague, as their representative? Is there someone, is the White House in talks right now to find someone either outside the White House or internally who can speak on behalf of the White House representing the special counsel office within the White House from this podium, or any of those talks?
I would refer you to the White House counsel's office.
But you're the communications,
I
run
would-
communications,
I-
so I'm asking
I-
about you as a communications matter, playing any
there
part of
is-
those
you-
conversations existing.
Peter, you have spoken to my colleague who did, again, a 45-minute call with all of you, answering questions
But
about.
if you would acknowledge it's on background, though, Karine, not on the record until the call ends, that means the American people can't see it in public. So we're asking, will there be a
But many-
representative who would
but-
speak on camera and see it in public?
But the call was indeed, he was quoted, it was in papers, it was on networks.
Correct, but because they can't witness it happening live, Americans don't get the same transparency into this back and forth. I'm asking, is the White House having a conversation?
Peter,
This is just with respect. You guys brought John Kirby in. I'm asking if that
Peter,
conversation exists.
the fact that he spoke to all of you reporters who report on this, and then you all reported on it back to the American people, I believe that is transparency. I believe that he shared information, he answered your questions that you believe that the American people wanted to hear, and he answered those questions.
So my
And
question is,
he took 45 minutes to do that.
For which we're great.
Anything else that you have on this, Peter, I would refer to the White House counsel. Peter, I'm
I
not,
just wanna
we
be
just
clear.
went
Are you
back.
having- So just the
We're-
question is, are
Peter-
you having a conversation about adding a member to the staff to speak publicly on this?
Peter,
It's a
I
yes or no. You
just,
can
I
say no.
actually just answered that question. I said, we have someone currently,
So that
right?
means no.
We have someone currently who answered your questions for 45 minutes on a call and took your questions.
Yes.
Took your questions about this particular issue.
Correct.
He will continue to do that. He will continue to engage with all of you, right, on this issue, on this legal process that's currently happening from the White House counsel's office. After that, Peter, I don't have anything else to share. Go ahead, go ahead.
On the,
Go ahead, last question.